Alright guys, welcome back to Learnlyte. In this video we're going to talk about Python data types. Now there are four main data types, or I should say there are four primitive data types. These are integers, floats, strings, and Boolean. Now integers are self-explanatory. They are basic whole numbers, and floats are basically decimal numbers that have a decimal point and can be used to represent fractions and other real numbers. Strings now, these data types are usually represented by the use of quotations, whether it be a double or a single quotation. And the last type is Boolean. And this data type is basically yields a true or false. So basically what that means is if an expression yields a true or false, then it is a type Boolean. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to use the IDLE to show you the different data types, are the four main ones. So first one we talked about was integers, right? So as I mentioned before, integers is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically whole numbers. For example, 5. So we can find out the data type of a value simply by using a Python keyword or a Python function known as type, and then we pass in 5 in bracket, hit enter, and we get a class int. What this means is that 5 is a type integer. And similarly we can say type, and we can try 16. We also get class int. Another one, if we type in type, and let's type in a large number right here. I don't know what that number is. Hit enter, and we get class int. The next one is float. So a float is basically a number with a decimal point. Example is if we type something like this and we get 3.14 and we hit enter, we get class float. So float, as I said before, is any decimal number used to represent fractions and other real numbers. So we can say type, and we're gonna say 0.111. That's 4 ones. Hit enter, we get float. Another one, type, let's say 78.9. Hit enter, we get class float. Alright, so now you guys understand float and integers. The next one is string. So string now, as I said before, is normally represented by the use of quotations, whether it be single or double quotes. So in this example, I'm going to say type, and then inside this I'm going to say hello world, in quotation, in bracket, hit enter, we get a class of str, which is class string, or of type string. Another one is type, gonna say Bob, and we're gonna hit enter. This one uses single quotation, and you can see we also get class string, which means that it is of type string. So whether it be single quotes or double quotes, it will be of type string. Now in this next example, I'm gonna say type. Inside this quotation, I'm gonna put 65. Now what do you expect to get? Well, you should get a string, and you do, and the reason for that is the 65, which is typically an integer, but because we put it inside a quotation, it is now a string. And the same can be said for this example, where we have a string and we have 3.14. This would usually be a float, but because it's in quotation, it is a string, which is why when we say type, we get a class of string, or str, which is short for string. Similarly, int is short for integer. Now the last one is type Boolean. Now Boolean represents a true or false value, so whether something is true or not. So in this example, we're going to say type. Inside here, I'm going to write true, which is true with a capital T. Hit enter. We get a class bool, which is short for Boolean. So remember, a type Boolean means that it is either true or false. Similarly, we can say type, and then inside this bracket, I'm going to write false. And we get a class of bool, which means that it is of, the data type is Boolean. And then in this last example now, I'm going to write an expression, just going to say 5 equal 5. So what this is saying is 5 equal 5. This is going to give us a true or false value. Does 5 equal 5? It does. And it returns true, and we know that true is of class Boolean. So whenever a expression or something that we enter into Python, whether it be 5 equal to 5 or 5 greater than 4, it will return a true or false, and that true or false value is of type Boolean. And remember, we can use a Python built-in function type to check the type of a value that was given. So we can write a random number right there, hit enter, we get class float. And that's it. There are more data types in Python, but those are the 4 main ones that you will come across, which are integers, floats, strings, and Boolean. Those are the 4 primitive data types. There are others such as lists and tuples and so forth, but we'll get into those later on in the video. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.